Hello, it's Pete Osborne here with Thank God I'm Queer. And, one of the best things about being spiritual AF, as you might hear, and actually being rejected by a lot of the world religions, by a lot of the churches, is it kind of like a lot of us get to do in the LGBTQ, or we get to choose our own family. We also get to choose our own faith or our own theology. My particular theology is a very eclectic mix of all kinds of things. Part of it being the Christian tradition, and I like to call it the Christ consciousness, because for me it's about embodying the actual idea of the Christ within myself as Jesus did in his walk. But it also has a little bit of Hinduism, a little Buddhism, and a few other odds and ends kind of mixed in with it. In the Bible, it talks about how we will have the ability to have spiritual discernment. And I believe what that's done for me is it's been able to inform me as to what works for my theology, my personal spiritual walk, and what doesn't work for my own spiritual walk. So many people are going to tell you that it's a one size fits all. Well, there's over 7 billion people here on the planet. We all eat differently, we talk differently, we live differently, we love differently. Why in the world can we not worship differently and it be okay? The idea to me that one person can encapsulate the entire idea or knowledge or knowing of God within their human brain makes no sense to me, because if God is universal, and if God is eternal and infinite, and if God made everything, how can a human being imagine everything about God? That's not even possible. If you look at our human bodies, we only sense a very, very narrow range of the actual frequencies and energies that are out there. If you look at the light spectrum, the spectrum of light that we as human beings perceive is tiny. The spectrum of sound waves that we perceive with our human bodies is tiny. So you can imagine there's all kinds of things going on that we're not even aware of, because our bodies don't have the capability of actually resonating with that frequency physically. Now, of course, spiritually, we can tune into a whole lot of different things, but still what I'm getting at is the idea that how can a human brain figure out what God is completely within the realm of between these two ears? That just doesn't even make any sense to me. So for me, it only makes logical sense that God is multifaceted, that there's many parts to him, and there's no way one person's going to be able to get all parts. So I'm going to give you my allowance that lets you, if you're looking for anybody to give you permission, I'm going to give you permission to make up what your own theology is. Now, there's certain criteria that I'm going to say about that, and that is simply, I've put this on the original first video on this show, it's true, about what my litmus test is. And those are some basic things, and my cat's about to join me. Those are some basic things, such as that, God is love, that it is about empowerment for everyone, that there's no judgment in it, and just some, take some very primary things. If your religion or your theology is based around what someone else shouldn't do, that to me isn't God. That to me is your judgment, and that to me is you having a problem with what somebody else is doing and trying to say that it's God having the problem, and it's really you that's having the problem. If somebody's doing something wrong, guess what? It's not your business. That's God's business. That's the business between that person and God. As long as it's not directly affecting you, it's none of your darn business. So leave it alone. So that's one of the first things about theology, is when you see somebody talking to somebody else about something that they're doing and they think it's wrong and it doesn't have anything to do with that person, you can tell them straight from me, that is not of God, because God's going to tell them don't judge. God's going to tell them, look for the for the log in your own eye where you're talking about the splinter in somebody else's. And the first person who doesn't have any sin may actually throw a rock at the woman who is sinful, as in the Bible story. All kinds of great, powerful stories that we're going to be talking about on this channel to really empower you to be able to really teach, what does the Bible say? What is Jesus really telling us? Because one of the most interesting things to me is that one of Jesus's messages to us is that we're going to do far greater things than he did. Well, let's take a look at what he did. He raised the dead. He fed 5,000 people. At least there's 2 different stories of it, with 3 loaves of bread and 5 fish. I think the other one was switched around the other way, but either one, a minuscule amount. If you look at what bread was back then in Jesus's times, bread was unleavened and very small, pieces of bread. It might have been that big, but it was very thin. It was like a pita bread. And fishes could be very small. And if you think about that, feeding 5,000 people and having 12 baskets left over. And Jesus said we will do what he did and do far greater things. He healed the sick. The lame could walk. The blind could see. He did so these many, many amazing things, and he exhorted us and told us that we would do far greater things. And I don't see that happening. So what I'm saying is, I think we're really called as people that say that we're spiritual, people who are seeking a higher spiritual rhythm or energy for ourselves. It's time for us to step out into the world and to be that for other people, to be the person who lifts up and who raises up and empowers other people and heals other people. But first we have to heal and empower ourselves. And that's what this channel is really about, empowering and healing ourselves. And I'm going to have a lot of videos that are going to talk about different modalities and ways that we can heal and move forward. But I wanted to get really kind of honest and in depth about what my personal theology is. And it's not that I want anybody else to follow me, because I want you to find out what your personal is, but I want to kind of open the book by talking about mine. Now, for me personally, I connect with the angelic energy. So for anybody out there that does read the Bible, the angels are in the Bible over 300 times. So for me personally, the way I connect with the angels, it's almost like a posse or a personal friend. And I find that almost every single angel, or really every single angel, has their own particular strength, their own particular part of our life that they like to work with, that they're really great at. I mean, things that are really particular. For instance, if I ever lose something or can't find something, I actually ask Archangel Chamuel to help me. Now, I'm not praying to Archangel Chamuel. I'm asking Archangel Chamuel like you'd ask an administrative assistant. Hey, I'm missing this. Can you please help me find it? And then what I do is I go into a place of knowing that I've asked and it's already been answered, and I take away the stress of it. And every single time, without fail, whatever it is I'm looking for will suddenly just like appear, or next thing you know, I have this intuition or this compulsion to go over somewhere else and look at something else or do something else, and next thing I know, there's what I was looking for the whole time. I might talk about some really, really amazing stories that I've actually used Archangel Chamuel to help me find things before. So just things that are really particular like that. Now, if you're interested in hearing more about the angels and more about what I do, I'm going to put a link below to some of my Udemy courses where I really go into depth on a lot of the angels. In fact, my newest actual course, and my cats are fighting in the background, my newest course is 48 Essential Angels, and it goes really, really in-depth, really, really personal, in-depth with these angels. Now, if you don't want to talk about angels, you don't want to connect with them, I have no problem with that. But what I do want to do is be really upfront and forward about what my theology is, in order to give you the allowance to become authentic in your own spiritual walk, because that's what's going to empower you. Because when you talk to people about something that you know, I mean, it is part of what you are, it's part of who you are, and you know it no matter what, you're going to be on a firm ground to be able to speak about these things and be this person in such a different way than if you're just like being told what to believe and then you're trying to pass that on. Have you ever had somebody explain something to you and they got you really excited about it because they were excited about it, and then you tried to explain it to somebody else but you hadn't really fully embodied it, and you just got all caught up and kind of lost in the moment, and like, you know, you get so desperate of how to even explain this to this other person, and the person's looking at you like, you know, I don't get it. Why were you so interested in that? It's because you hadn't fully embodied it. So when you fully embody your own spirituality, your own theology, it's just part of who you are. It's part of what you do. It's part of how you move through the world. And for me personally, I found that it's all about mindset. It's all about faith. It's all about the grace that we're in. It's all about asking one time and then giving great praise and knowing that what you've asked for, the answer has already come to you and it's already happening, and living in that space. I have had such an incredible change in my life, and it has all been through faith. Every single piece of it has been through faith. And I'll probably get into depth later on about some of these actual stories of just miraculous things that were supposed to be impossible that I prayed about and they got fixed. And now my life is just, I find myself in the most amazing space right now. And this isn't anything about a commercial for Pete, or Pete's just this most amazing thing. What I'm really good at is having faith. I'm really good at knowing, and I'm really good at knowing that I am a prayer warrior. And when I say prayer warrior, when I say that the term prayer, that means only to ask once and then to praise and give gratitude thereafter. And that's still part of prayer. So we might get into a couple videos about how to actually pray properly from my perspective. And that's what this channel is all about my perspective. So anyway, I'm going to put the links below for the Udemy course about the angels. If you're interested, take a look. If you're not, I'm totally cool with that. Would love for you to like and subscribe and comment to this video. Talk to me about what your personal theology is. What does your spiritual walk look like? And I hope that it is something completely different and completely amazing, as long as it's affirming to everyone, and it's a story, and it's a message of love and peace and joy and health and abundance for everybody. I'm in. So I'm just going to say to you, love, peace, and release, and thank you for watching.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it did something for you. My main goal is for it to have brought you empowerment and acceptance, true acceptance of yourself, and authenticity for yourself. We're always discovering who we truly are and opening up another layer of that. So that is my goal, is for you to become more authentically yourself, discover it for you, and then expose it to the world, and for you to be fully empowered in that authenticity so that you can be truly present in the now and be truly effective in this world to bring it to love, peace, joy, fulfillment, health, abundance, all those amazing things that I truly believe that God has for us. If you have any comments or anything, I hope that you will let me know below. I hope you subscribe to my channel, and I hope you'll let me know if you have any questions of any kind. You'll see some ways to actually contact me down below, or just leave a comment. I would love to get back with you. I have some programs and other things that are going to be available, and you'll be able to see that in my contact below. So let me know how I can be of best assistance, because that's really what I want to be here. I want to be an open channel to help others to come to the authenticity and to the empowerment that I have found without going through all the pain and suffering and ugliness and years of time. Let's do this quickly. Love, peace, release. Pete Casabun. An amazing day.